That's my heart-shaped bin. Oh, that's bright. Let's see if I can turn this flash off. No, it looks as though I can't. I've just done this video once, and I'm really upset because it went really well. But it didn't seem to record. Anyway, so, how come and why is it that we don't seem to care? That the world just isn't fair. And maybe you think that it shouldn't be, or that we are wrong to assume that it could. I've completely lost my flow, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to let my feelings show, because I've got this conversation going, and it might make me sound crazy to say this, but within my own mind, sometimes there's a voice, a third party, saying you, your, we. Most of the time, it disagrees with me. I go to think something, and I get this: don't do that, don't do this, don't put your head above the parapet, don't keep thinking that you can change this situation. Don't keep thinking that eventually we'll outgrow this nation, this state of being that we're in. So getting back to what I was going to say before, and what I said a minute ago really well, this is awful compared to it. I was talking about the price of a house, and how it makes us all work to pay for it. Back in the day, one person, they earned the bread, and that paid for the mortgage. The other person usually stayed at home, kept it nice, socialised with our neighbours, brought up the kids. It doesn't happen like that anymore. Both of you have to work. Everyone who rents a room pays a premium. I'm not such a happy medium. I go to Spiritualist Church on a Tuesday to learn how to give healing. It's like Reiki. I don't know too much about that yet, although I'm reading a book on it. The stuff I do says that the energy I give comes from God, the angels, healers who have passed the spirit, my loved ones, my guides. It's quite a big thing to swallow, this idea that when we die, we don't just wallow in the mud and rot. Oh no, there's something else going on. Quite a lot, actually. This wasn't the direction that the Rhine went the time before, when I was really getting into it and explaining things in such a way that I thought you'd love it. I think if I can go back to the idea, what I was saying was, we're not meant to be healthy. Our doctors, try as they might, they're not really there to heal, no matter what they thought they were getting into medicine for. They're just there to prescribe us stuff. The people in the shops, they just want our money in the tills. And even they know that our lifestyle of consuming, it just fills us with ills and gives us the reason to go out, to see a GP, and to fill ourselves with pills. We need to, because we don't eat healthily. We don't have the time to cook. All we have the time for is to work. And even if we do make the time, the stress of the jobs we do, it's not good for me, it's not good for you. That's why I got out. I was working in an office. I had lots of money. I could buy anything I wanted. But it didn't make me happy. Almost immediately I knew that it wasn't for me. Well, is it for you? Aren't you just being fitted into a little square box? Trapped within a cell, a cubicle? More and more rules, 0-hour contracts, no freedom. How long were you in the toilet? The jobs are getting worse. And things aren't getting any better in the environment. All the life's dying. And I'm not lying when I say that in many ways I wish that this rhyme had been the one that I had said before. I'm not even speaking properly. My throat's all croaky. I'm disappointed in these days of yours and mine. Brother, sister, daughter, mother, father, son, you, and all of us and everyone. The state of the world is bringing about a necessary change, and we might think that technology is on our side, but ultimately it makes us feel empty. It replaces our own capability to remember, to add up, subtract. Even taking pictures, videoing something that we should be experiencing so that we can experience it again at a later date by watching it. It's wrong. It takes away, ultimately, the feeling and allows us to experience something over and over with little meaning. We're just watching it as though somebody else was there, instead of being there. Oh, this is rubbish compared to what I did before. And I'm sure that I'd come across as some sort of crazy person because I'm eating healthily and it's bringing up so much stuff, so many habits for me to see. And I've sinned, so I can compare myself favourably with those that I blame for creating this reality. Those who are greedy, and I'm greedy. Those who are lazy, and I'm lazy. Those who think it would be better if they had 7 houses and 1 million cars and a private beach and waiters and servants and chauffeurs and all of the rest of this stuff. But life is not a peach. It doesn't work like that. I think they feel empty inside. I mean, look at the Trumps. What are we going to do? Well, I don't know about you, but I intend to do something amazing for my best friend. Something wonderful for my folks. I'd like to get to the point where I make some witty jokes, but it's been a while. I don't laugh as much, or smile. And maybe that's a good thing, because now when I do it really means something. Like swearing. I don't do it often, but when I do, you know I mean it. So fuck you too. Get off your ass. Save up like I'm gonna do. Build a tiny house on wheels. Take it with you when you move. Don't let the artificially high prices of a house make you a timid mouse. I know many of you have families. Many of you have careers. So you're not as free as I am to shed these tears. To be the crazy one. To connect. To death. To live more sensitively. Not to numb myself with cheese and bread. All the things that you enjoy, the treats you give yourself. Oh, I'll treat myself to this. I'll treat myself to that. It doesn't make you healthy. It often makes you fat. We treat ourselves with rubbish. Factory farmed and factory produced so-called foods. What I've learned is that if you put in the time to make things yourself, you don't fancy that other stuff. And maybe this just makes me seem like a bit of rough, and I am. But I'm treating myself with more respect. And I like to think I'm treating others too. And it's painful. Every morning is a shameful thing when I wake up and remember who I've been. But I have to live with that until I die. So this is why we're eye to eye. This is why I'm saying all this. Because I need to earn my bliss. The state that I go back to when I expire. And I've been a liar. I can see it. I know I have. I got higher and higher and higher until I crashed and realised as much as I'd like to spend my time with you. Say last night at Planet's Room. All of us in a room, bouncing to a repetitive beat, going outside. In a cage smoking area, watching people go by in the street, moving our feet, relating to one another, doing less drink, doing more drugs. Oh, and all the hugs. I miss it, I really do. But I'd be so tempted to get high again, artificially. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with what you do. I loved it. It brought me to this place of wanting more for myself and so much more for you. And maybe I'll go back to it. Enjoy myself with the willpower to know that there are certain things I don't have to do to enjoy myself. Or maybe I'll end up collapsing, falling back into my old ways, going back to those heady days. Who knows? But I know that the way I'm doing things now was better for everyone around. That's the most important thing. That's the lesson I've learned. The song I sing. I'm in a better place. I'm doing right by others. So, once again, daughters, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, sons, to all of you and everyone's family and friends, this is where it ends. for now. Bye bye. I'm off to get some chow. See ya. Peace.